because it was important to me that although it's sci-fi, science fiction,
Yeah.
and fantasy in its genre, it was important to me that there be science in the work, that there be this idea that those energies that we bring to life, energy that Sylvia winds up finding for herself, that
Mm,
power,
mm.
that there's a science behind that. And so it was important for me in the building of that that I have that science built. So for me, the behind the scenes as an author was if you see, someone using any of that ability, that power to change things, if it's something that looks science fiction or something that looks magical in the sense of fantasy, um, the behind the scenes for me is I'm working on this stuff right now for the next book, but I went ahead and brought it here, and I don't know if I can put it across the screen, but I will try.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it,
Yeah.
but the the math behind why
Yeah.
um, things can happen
Oh,
is
you've
there.
got brackets and all sorts. That's proper maths equations.
Oh, proper math, yes. So, when it was important to me that, you know, when something happened, that there were laws that governed it.
Yeah.
It's not something that doesn't have that background. So I wanted the strength of people coming into their power, as you described in a very personal experience, to have a support in this fantasy science fiction world that gave it real strength and support
Mm,
and scaffolding.
mm,
So it was nice. Thank you for sharing that very personal experience to go with my very personal experience of building that.
mm.
And it's just elegant in how those two things come together.
Yeah.
And there was um, a question that came for me that I think you and I have mentioned when we first started thinking about collaboration. And the question that came to me from one of the readers was, why did you write the Hidden Relic Hunter? And it really comes back to what you said about that point in your life where you felt powerless,
Mm,
not that you were powerless, but maybe because of the situation you were in. And for me, I often ask people, have you ever felt invisible? Have you ever
mm,
felt, that you didn't have that power to make change? And or know someone who feels that way, who you
mm,
think is absolutely incredible and lights the day. And these people often feel very invisible.
mm,
And this was one of the beginnings, as we talk about as artists. Things don't just come from one single inspiration. There's this multitude of things that collide to bring something to life. And with Hidden Relic Hunter, it was seeing this in both life and in fantasy, where so many times there's just always a hero right out of the
mm.
gate, And for me, it's like a lot of times the people that I find in real life who are the heroes are the people who never think they're heroes to start with.
Yeah.
And it was important to me that I've seen that in my life, seeing people that I just admired who felt invisible or,
Mm,
that they didn't have that power. And I wanted to kind of step into a situation where I showed that person being seen from the perspective of those of us who look on and say,
mm,
you are incredibly powerful and you change the world. And that was kind of the spark that ignited the Hidden Relic Hunter.
mm, mm.
I had one up here that I thought was really interesting that a reader sent for you, and it was kind of about you preparing to do the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you kind of approach that? Are there little things that you think are interesting or important that um, maybe other writers would want to know about or that readers would want to know about? Is there something you could share along that line?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think every narrator is different, but similar in a way. In that, for me, I'll read the piece from start to finish first, um, because that gives me a shape of it. It gives me the melody of the book. So then I know what what dance hall I'm going into, which means I'll know what shoes I need to wear to dance comfortably
Hmm.
in that style, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And that sort of metaphor, if you like, really works for me because I know that if it's like jive, there's going to be a real high energy to it. And then I can start to work on the characters. If it's ballroom, then there's more grace to it. It's more gentle. There's more of a, and that's how I approach it right out of the gate. So reading it, bang on. If we've got a lot of characters, which your piece does have, then I will cast it. So I will think about the how the text describes each character, so I know their physicalities. Then I
Hmm.
will, because I've read it, I kind of got a sense of their personalities. So then I will cast it from actors or actresses. And then that instantly gives me the seat that I need to sit in when I'm voicing them. Because if and I hope that I do. My intention is to create real people, not characters, not caricatures. So if
Hmm.
I'm basing it on somebody, when I'm doing a scene, especially if it's an emotional scene, then to me the voices make sense, and the voices come from that person. So I'll
Hmm.
cast it. That's important to me.
Hmm.
Um, and then you've got kind of technical things like I've recently taken. I'm using a Laban method, which is again, it's a dance thing, which is a kind of about the fluidity. Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it which
Hmm.
informs the voice?
Hmm.
Finding the voices is important to me.
Yes. And you dance through this book. I have to say, it's just beautiful.
Thank you.
It is a multitude of characters, and the diversity that you brought brings us into our last question, which was about, why science fiction and fantasy. And I think that's a question really for both of us. Why would I choose to write it?
Mm,
And why would you choose to narrate it? Because you have the opportunity to narrate across many genres.
mm,
So to select and follow through with one that is science fiction and fantasy would be a choice for you. And for me, it's a one sentence answer, but it says so much about what's important to me, and that's that I love the celebration of growth, knowledge, and diversity in the genre. And I have to say, you as a narrator brought that to the book when you brought it to life.
thank you. I think for me, science fiction, it's just so much fun because whatever's going on in the world today doesn't matter. It's the universe. We're sort of plopped into a different universe.
Mhm.
You might have creature that has fins, and whatever, but you can remove yourself from reality. You can do
Mhm.
with many audiobooks, but science fiction and fantasy specifically, you are in a different world. You're in a different universe, and you can be free
Yes.
within, and you're bound by the boundaries of that world,
Mhm.
which will make you look back on what's in your world. It's a really interesting mirror. It's like walking through a house of mirrors.
Mhm.
You walk past one and you've been contracted. You walk past
Mhm.
another and you've been expanded.
Mhm.
And so then when you get out and you look at yourself, you go, do you know what? My arms aren't that fat. So it's kind of, I like the way that science fiction takes you completely out and brings you right inside at the same time. It's a paradox, and I love that.
Oh, it is. And I appreciate you as an artist bringing your skill to the Hidden Relic Hunter.
Thank
And
you.
from both of us, we have this production of the Hidden Relic Hunter coming out May 7th, 2025. So
Amazing.
super excited for everyone to hear what we've produced and created together. Thank you, Kate, so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Alexis, for your time. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time to listen to us blabbing on.
Absolutely, because we do it on our own time quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. And
Um,
thank you for listening, everybody.
yes, thank you. And as readers, writers, narrators, anyone interested, please reach out and we'll continue to create things for you as we move forward.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.